Today, I welcome Kat Sterling to the show. Kat is a remarkable entrepreneur whose journey is filled with resilience, innovation, and purpose. She's built her path to success through determination and a deep understanding of what it means to cultivate joy in both business and in life. Join us as we dive into her incredible entrepreneurial story and explore how happiness has played a role in shaping her journey. Kat Sterling, up next. Kat Sterling, welcome to the show. So glad to have you here.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, thank you for coming. So, my first question to you, Kat, is your work as a mindset coach and fitness expert inspires so many people to transform their lives. What sparked your passion and helping others align their mental and physical well being?
I think it started with myself. I had to get myself right. And then I saw other people that were not physically, mentally, emotionally stable in themselves. And so I was like, you know what? I have a passion for helping people. I think that's my purpose in life is to help people. And God's always put this in my spirit, but it took me a long time to realize it because I was inundated with a corporate job. You
Yes,
know,
yes.
super busy, didn't have time to do that over there, what I was supposed to be doing. And then, once I left that job, I ended up saying, you know what, I'm going to do what I've been called to do. Finally, I'm going to do what I've been called to do. And that's where I found happiness and purpose and meaning in my life with helping others. I love it.
Oh, I can tell. Let's talk about your book for a second. What key principles from your book, why they are winning and you are not? I love that title, by the way. Excellent title. Do you think are most often overlooked?
Man, consistency is the number one thing. I tell people that all the time. You have to be consistent in whatever you do. Success does not come overnight. Not going to come easy and it's not going to come overnight. And there are going to be trials and you're going to get derailed and you're going to have people in your ear saying, don't do that. I don't understand why you're still doing that. It's not working out for you. But if it's your purpose and it is your passion and you know it's your mission in life, keep going because you're going to hit a breakthrough. You're going to hit walls, but you're going to hit a breakthrough at some point. So keep pushing forward. Consistency, perseverance, making sure you are in the right environments around the right people is so critical. People overlook that so often. I've been across so many people that have not been out there. They have businesses or they have these things that they're trying to push and they're just trying to push them on social media. And I'm like, no, you got to go out there and physically open your mouth and talk to people because nobody knows if you have a great business and it's a silent venture. Nobody knows it. So you have to be out there talking to people, and people buy things or they partner with people that they trust. And if they don't know you, if they don't trust you, if they don't have a relationship with you, a lot of times you're not going to get anywhere. So it's very critical that you're out there networking every single day. I'm out here every single day. I'm doing podcasts. I am meeting people at different events. I don't feel like going. I don't feel like going a lot of times, but you have to show up. That's the last thing I would say. Show up. You got to show up every single day, especially being somebody that's an entrepreneur. Even if you're not an entrepreneur, if you have some big goal that you want to achieve, you gotta show up every single day.
You do.
Right?
So what a role do habits play in discipline in achieving long-term success?
Oh man. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Some habits have to die and then you have to create healthier ones. And I'm not speaking from a place of this is not me and I'm perfect and I've never had to overcome these trials. I hate it when people do that. They come on these platforms and they say it like it's so easy and I've never had this problem. I'm like, no, everything I talk about, I've struggled with myself. And so this is kind of self-help for me and self-medication for me because I'm talking to myself as well as other people. You have to create those habits. Oh my gosh, I hate it when people say I don't have time to do this or I don't have enough time in a day. I don't have this. No, you have to train yourself to have time because there is plenty of time in a day, but you have other habits that are competing. So instead of following your purpose and your passion, you'll go watch a Netflix series.
Yeah, true.
I mean, you'll binge watch Netflix and then sit there and tell me you don't have time. And I'm like, yes, you do. You have time for the things you want to have time for. I don't have money. Oh, you went on vacation last week. You have money. You go out to eat every week. You know what I'm saying? So the people always make excuses for the things that they're putting off or don't really want to do. But, you have to create those healthy habits and you have to get rid of some habits in order to make room for the purpose. And I think the thing that people miss is when you make room for your purpose, I think that's when you find that spiritual breakthrough or that breakthrough in life that leads to happiness. We're often searching for external things to make us happy. I'm going to go out and hang out at the club, and I'm going to go out and, hang out with my friends, or I'm going to go watch this football game, or I'm going to do this. And yes, you should do those things, but that's not ultimately going to bring you joy. You're going to find joy and happiness in life when you find your purpose and you can fulfill that. That's what wakes me up every morning.
That is so true. But let's go back to your transitioning from corporate world to entrepreneurship for a second.
Yes.
What was the most difficult part of transitioning from that corporate leadership world to entrepreneurship?
The money, of course, because you go from here to zero. It's like, no, how do I live? Oh my gosh. And then I got wrapped up in my identity being what I did
Yeah.
for a long time. I was in corporate for 20 plus years. I, worked in, almost a C-level suite. So I got wrapped up in who I was at the job versus who I was as Kat.
A lot of people do, though. A lot of people identify themselves with who they work with or who they are at work.
Yes, because you think labels, you think titles, you think
Yes. Yes.
he is going to bring some level of "I've made it." And then, the funny thing is when you get there, it's always the next level. It's like,
Right.
"Okay, I made it. I thought this was gonna be it." And then now I'm like, "No, this is not no, I wanna go for that now. I wanna go over there." And so you're always trying to do this, and I found myself doing that. And then when I didn't achieve those goals, I would get so upset with myself. I would be so just disappointed and unhappy because I didn't achieve a goal that I set on a parameter that I set on myself. Nobody else set this on me. I set it on myself. And so it was just unfair. I had to realize it was unfair. But the transition was definitely hard. I mean, it took me a year to really find myself and who I was. And once I did that, like I said, I got into a space of, wow, I feel complete without stuff. That was the thing for me. It was like, I knew I wasn't happy because when I get unhappy, I start to do unhealthy habits.
Yeah.
So my unhealthy habit was spending money. It was shopping. Yeah, that was, and I was so unhappy, and I wasn't really conscious of it, because I was just doing things that would temporarily make me happy, and then it would get me deeper and deeper into a hole, which was shopping, right? And so once I left there, I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? But I ended up figuring out that stuff is just stuff.
Right.
And when you take away the money and you take away the stuff, you're left with this stuff that you have to work through. Nobody could help me. I had to help it within myself. And I really got closer with my spiritual relationship to God because I didn't have anybody. I couldn't rely on my stuff and I couldn't rely on people. So I had to really rely on God to really help me through that transition in that process. And I found, like I said, I found myself. I found that I was a better person for taking away all that stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's,
Much
that's
better person. Yeah, I love it now. I love where I am now. I love who I am as a woman. I know who I am. I
mm,
didn't know who I was before because my identity was in the job.
right.
So
Right.
I know who I am. I know what my mission is. I know what I want to do, and I love getting up to do it. That's the thing is like people don't realize that when you strip away all that stuff, you can really understand who you are as a person, a spiritual being, which is what we are, and then you can live in that.
And you make a really good point there, but your purpose.
Yes.
You have discovered your purpose. Absolutely. You just know when it's right. So how can someone identify and market their transferable skills when switching from corporate to entrepreneurship?
Mhm.
Because there are some really key skills that you learn in the corporate world that
Yeah.
you can use in entrepreneurship.
Yes, yes. It's so hard though because like you said, the key word is market. You have to market yourself, and people
Yes.
people aren't good at that, right? We're
Right.
we're not good at marketing ourselves. We know how to do things, but we're to tell people that's what we do. It's like, oh. So I would say you need to find those things that you were really good at on your job that people could basically not do anything without you being there. So I was good at business plans. I was good at business cases. I was good at analytics. I was good at presentations. So I sat down and I said, you know what? And I was good at writing too. So
Mm,
I sat down and I said, you know what? I'm going to finish the book that I started, number one, because I have a skill for that. And there's a market for books, especially self-help books. So you got to figure out the market. What do people need? And where do your skills fit in? and make a plan off of that and then market that to people. There's so many websites you can go on to. Like I said, there's so many networking events you can go to. Oh my gosh, I was at an event. It was called the Hope Global Forum. I was at an event a couple of weeks ago, and I met so many people from all walks of life,
Oh,
different skill sets, different entrepreneurs. They were selling, not really selling, but, talking about their businesses. As you meet people, they were talking about their businesses. And that's the only way people are going to know about you, if you get out there and market
yeah,
yourself. You
right.
have to get out there.
You have,
Social media is fine. That's
yes,
fine. But it
yes,
doesn't always hit. We know that. It doesn't
yes,
always
of
hit. And
course.
that doesn't always translate into a sale. What translates into a sale is body to body contact,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Knowing somebody, relationships. Yeah.
right, right. And the trust that you said, that's fundamental as well. Yeah.
Yes.
Let's
Yes.
talk about life after 40 for a second.
It's great.
It is great. So, what unique challenges have you faced professionally after turning 40?
Professionally or body wise.
That could be a whole nother show. It really could.
I'm finding a lot of things with my body. I'm like, wait a minute, this ain't what y'all taught after 40. This isn't what it's supposed to be like. But professionally, I think, like I said, I think you grow as you get older. You learn and you grow. You think you know it all in your 20s. And then by your 30s, you're like, wait a minute, I don't know everything. There's a lot of stuff that I don't know, but I'm still going to pretend like I know it all. And then by your 40s, you're like, you know what? I just surrender. I don't know it all. I'm willing to learn, and I'm willing to start over, and I'm willing to adjust according to, whatever the universe has for me.
Yeah.
So when you're 40, I think you don't have it all figured out, but you've lived enough life to say, you know what? I don't know everything, but I know enough to get by, and I'm going to go with it.
Well, what advice would you give to someone who's over 40, who feels it's too late? They've left the corporate world, they've left a job, and they want to pursue their dreams.
Oh, no, it's never too late. You can be 70 and it's never too late. I would say, though, never just leave your corporate job and you don't have a backup plan. Work your plan while you're at your corporate job, and then you work your other plan. You jump into your mission or purpose that you want to fulfill. Don't ever just quit. Don't ever do that.
Right.
Don't ever put yourself in a situation where you're going to be financially strapped. But there is life after 40. There absolutely is. There's life after 50, 60. I know people that have quit their job after 60 and started a real estate career. So there's always time. There's always time to fulfill it. Just you have to go for it. That's what I would
Right.
say. You have to just go for it. And like I said, have a plan. Make sure you have a solid plan, but don't let anything or anybody stop you.
Because sometimes some people feel stuck and they're in their comfort zone. So how do
Yeah.
you move beyond that?
I had to get forced out of my comfort zone. Like like I had to leave my job. There was a situation that happened where I had to leave my job, and I would never say stay until it's time for you to go. I would say make your plan, and
Yeah.
then before something catastrophic, because what I always say is, if God has a purpose for you, it's going to be fulfilled. You're just waiting and putting it off, and you're waiting for him to move you in a way that's going to be uncomfortable. So you might as well just go ahead and prepare yourself before that sledgehammer hits, and you
Yeah.
have to be forced out. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I always tell people, start, if there's a purpose that he's put in your heart, just go ahead and start planning on it, because he's going to move you at some point, and you're not going to like the way he moves you if he has to move you. So go ahead and start moving in that direction. That's what I tell people.
But it's true, because he will move you
Oh
eventually.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Yes.
And it's going to be
Absolutely.
something where you can't go back. You don't have a plan B. There is no plan B. Doors are going to be closed. Let me tell you, when I left my job, I couldn't even find another job.
Mm.
And I'm very well educated. I'm very experienced, and doors were just shutting left and right. But you know what? I never missed a meal. My family never missed a house payment. We didn't miss a car payment. Like, everything was paid. So it was just like he took care of it, but I had to get out of my comfort zone. And that was the hardest thing, because we as people, we don't like change.
We don't. But how
Change
did
is
that affect your mindset?
Oh man, I had to talk myself into it every day. Like, some days were a struggle. It was very hard. I'm not gonna lie, it was very hard. I had to talk myself into, you know what? I got to do it for my kids. I got to do it for my family. Your why has to be strong enough to keep pushing you forward, because if not, you're gonna quit. and you're going to be taken out. I know so many people, things get so overwhelming for them. And it's just, they do things, or they, do permanent things. And it's like, it can take you there. It can take you there if you're not ready to handle it. And I told my husband that I said, if I was somebody else, or anybody else, I don't think anybody else could have handled what I just went through. I don't think anybody could have done that, because it was rough. And it's like looking at your kids, they don't know what's going on, but then
Right.
you know what's going on, and you're crying at night. You have nights where you're praying all night, where you don't sleep, and it's mentally tough. But like I said, spirituality was huge for me, because if I didn't have strength spiritually, I couldn't have made it. I couldn't have
But
made it at all.
is this what inspired you to start your company that you co-founded, Nuspira? Is
Yes.
what pushed you?
So my husband and I knew we were supposed to work together at some point. I knew we were supposed to start something, because he's always been an entrepreneur. I've dabbled in it, but I'm like I said, I'm risk averse at
Yeah.
first. So I don't, I don't want to take a risk. So now that I was forced to take a risk. My husband and I sat down and we were like, what are we going to do next? What's our next venture going to be? We got to figure something out. And so, we started sitting down, we started looking at different ventures, and we said, you know what? This is the way to go. We're going to work together. We're going to, no matter what happens, we're going to follow this plan to a T, and it's going to take us places. And that's what we did. We just sat down and we risked it all. We sold everything to start our company. We literally
Wow.
sold everything. Yeah, we put all of our chips in. We didn't wait for anybody to say, you know what, I'm going to give you a shot. We did shop around our business plan, but we had a lot of no's. Those doors were closing. So we said, you know what, we're going to do this ourselves. We believe in this so much that we're going to get rid of everything. We're going to stop everything, and we're just going to focus on this. And so that's what we did.
So what has been the most unexpected challenge of running your own business? Is it that I'm sure there are many.
The most unexpected challenge is when things don't go your way. Like, so you think you're going to come out and start a business is going to be like this overnight.
Right.
And
You're going to be really successful. Clients are going to be lined up at the door to buy your product.
no, it is not like that. It is so not like that. And so that's a rude awakening I think most entrepreneurs have. That's why a lot of businesses go under, because they're undercapitalized. You think you're going to need X amount of dollars, you come out, you don't get the sales that you're expecting, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, I'm bankrupt. And that's the hardest thing, is emotionally and mentally. It's like this every day. It's
Yeah.
like sales, and then it's like dealing with people and vendors and, comments and this. It's a lot to deal with. And so that's why I tell people who want to be an entrepreneur, you got to get your mind right. You have to get a strong mental fortitude, because it is going to be something different every single day. And you're going to have so many challenges, especially starting out when you're trying to get that thing off the ground.
Yeah.
You're going to have so many challenges, but you got to see it through consistency, perseverance, right? It's all about consistency and perseverance. And you got to do the things that you may not want to do. Like I said, I don't want to go out and work this event, but I have to, because I have to show up. Because if I don't, I could have met somebody that could have been, a big investor for my company, and I wasn't there on site to meet that person. So somebody else got the deal. So you have to show up every day, even on the things that you don't think are going to be fruitful. I've gone to events that I didn't even think were going to be fruitful, that were very fruitful. So you got to show up. Got to show up.
So how do you approach then goal setting and long-term planning as a business owner?
Goal setting. So my husband and I start at the beginning of the year. I tell people this too. I'm like, if you haven't started your goals by November, December for the next year, you're behind. You are so behind, because you need to be working on those goals starting January 1st. And I just did a vision board party with a group of ladies last night. Actually, I just did a vision board party. So I tell them, I'm like, set your goals for the year, make sure they're specific, set timelines and deadlines for those goals. Because if you just have a goal, I want to make $100,000 this year. Okay. So yeah, how are we going to do that? How are we going to do that? You need some specifics and some dates around that. If not, it's just a wish. So you have to be very intentional when you're setting your goals. And I set, 1-year goals, 2-year goals, 3-year goals. I set them up to 5 years. So this is where I want to be in the next 5 years. So we plan it out. We make sure we plan everything to a T, because your goals are your roadmap. That's your roadmap. If you don't have a roadmap, then where are you going?
I was going to ask you, how often do you look at your plan? If you have a
Every day. every day, especially if I have to reevaluate. If something's not going the way that I expected it to, I
Yeah.
have to reevaluate. So I look at it all the time. We have them up on our wall right here. It's like written out. They're written out up on our wall right here. Yep. They stay
Oh,
in front of us
wow.
every day. And our vision board is in our room. It's above our headboard. I'm sorry, it's above our ceiling. So it's, when we wake up, we look at it. That's what we want. That's what we want. That's what we want. That's what we want.
Wow. So, what advice would you give to entrepreneurs just starting out and trying to build a team? Because if you have a business, you need people to rely on and depend
Yes.
and to make
Yes.
sure that they're supporting you and supporting your business. And
Yes.
that team also needs to be adaptable. What advice would you give?
Find people that are smarter than you. In corporate, I ran into a lot of people that felt threatened by your intelligence or
Right.
better at something than them. But in this world, in the entrepreneur space, you need to find people that are smarter than you. You own the company, great, that's fine. But you need to have people that can do things that you can't do. You can't be jack of all trades. And that's one thing my husband and I had to learn. In the beginning, you may not have money to hire a whole team. You might be the team.
Right.
And you have to do the marketing, you got to do the social media, you got to do the accounting, you got to do the finance, you got to do the payroll, you got to do this, you got to do that. So you may have to be all that, but when you get to a point where you can hire people, you got to offload that. You can't, as an entrepreneur, you can't be, what's the word I'm looking for? You can't be controlling, taking over everything, micromanaging everything. You have to have people that you trust and people that know how you want things ran. Because if you don't have the simple basics, your business is going to go under. It's all in who you surround yourself with. And your business can either thrive or go under because of the people that you have surrounding you. So and like you look at people like Elon Musk,
Yeah.
you look at people
Yeah.
like any president or senator, they have people around them that elevate them and that protect them and that know the business. They don't do that all by themselves. The president of the United States doesn't do it all by himself. He has cabinets and people that help run things in different states and cities. And, so you don't have to do it all. You don't have to be jack of all trades. In the beginning, you will be because you don't have that kind of money
Right.
to hire 1,000 people. But when you get a chance to expand out, when you get a chance, make sure you look at what your immediate needs are. So if you need a finance person, that's the first person you hire. I would say social media or marketing people. That's what especially if you have a e-commerce business or a
Yeah.
product business or something you're selling, social media or marketing is probably one of the first types of people you need to hire because that is a full-time job in itself. Let me tell you, because I run all of our social media and do all of our marketing. I'm like, that is a full-time job.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's not easy because I'm learning skills. I'm like, I don't know anything about social media and marketing. I mean, but I'm learning on the fly. I'm learning
Yeah.
how to, so you learn so many different skills that you never even thought that you had. Your capacity for learning just expands exponentially because you're learning all these different roles that you've never had before. So it's a different type of experience. It definitely is, but it's fun though. It's very fun. I love it.
It's the fun in the journey of growing and developing and learning and the challenges and overcoming those challenges because you learn to be resourceful as well. You learn
Yes.
to be so resourceful when you have the
Oh,
challenges.
because you can't fail. Like if it's somebody else's dime, you're like, I'll get to it when I get to it, or it's easy to say that when it's somebody else's dime, but when it's your time, your money, your energy, your resources, you're like, no, I got to get on it because I can't fail. This can't lose. I have so much invested in this business.
Yeah. So some people do give up. And what would you suggest in terms of their journey? Is it 1 year, 2 years before you start to see success? 3 years? If people were to say, how long should I try this entrepreneurship for? 5 years? What would you suggest?
Oh, that's a great question. Because there is a point where you say, you know what, this just isn't working out.
Yeah.
Or this isn't gonna go right. I would say before you get into it, number one, this is the first thing. Before you jump out there, like I said before, make sure this is in alignment with whatever God's plan is for you, right? Make sure it's in alignment. Because if it's not in his will and it's not in alignment, you and I know this. If it's not in alignment with him, it's not gonna work out anyway. I've spent a lifetime figuring that one thing out. And I'm like, man, my life would have been so much easier if I would have figured this out in my 20s. But we want to resist that. But you can't circumvent the process. If it's not in his will, it is not going to work out. So that's why I pray about everything that I do. I pray about every venture that I do. I'm not trying to be spiritual or preachy, but it's
Yeah.
just a fact. It is just a fact. I've learned this over my 44 years. If it's not in his will, it is not going to happen. Or it could happen, but it's not gonna go the way you thought it was gonna go. So you need to pray about every business plan, everything that you have going on. You need to pray about even if it's a promotion. I don't care if it's not if you don't want to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Pray about it, and make sure it's in alignment with His will. I would also say if you are having issues and you are in business for yourself, I would get somebody to reevaluate my plan, see if it can be salvaged, see if something can be salvaged from my business, because it's just a horrible thing to close up shop. But if it's not working after a certain period of time, maybe a year, maybe it's 2 years. It depends on how your finances look. You may have an investor that's willing to go to the distance with you. It just depends. Everybody's situation looks different. But I would, if you're struggling, I would get somebody to help me reevaluate. Like I said, get somebody smarter than you. You don't have to do everything. Get somebody that's smarter than you to help you reevaluate your plan and see if you can pivot. Because we pivoted so many times. And being an investor, you have to be able to pivot to whatever your market is. You got to be able to pivot. If you're not, if you're just stuck in your way, you're gonna fail.
Right.
Now you're gonna fail, right?
Right. You have to adapt. You have to adapt.
You have to. You
Yes.
have to. You just don't know what's going to happen. The market may shift. Your customer base may change. You just don't know. And so, or somebody, if you bring on somebody else that can give you insight, they could say, hey, what about this platform? Have you ever thought about selling here? I can help market that. Whatever that is, you got to be able to bring somebody in to help you pivot if it's not going well. And sometimes you got to look at whatever you're selling and say, maybe there's not a market for it. There couldn't. I don't know, because sometimes there are products out there. It's like there's not a market for that. It's a great idea, but there's not really a market for that. Or the market is very, very small, so it's very hard to. It's a niche market, so you got to get that niche crowd that's going to buy that thing. So yeah, it's just different for every circumstance.
So let's talk about your products for a second. What's your favorite product that you developed or co-developed or struggled with that you thought would really be beneficial for everyone? I know you created many products, but
yes,
what's your favorite?
My favorite is our mushroom coffee. I love our mushroom coffee. I think it's amazing. One of the things that we saw in the market was that some of the mushroom coffees out there, the taste was not good. That was some of the complaints. And I've tried them too. And I was like, I can't drink this. I want the benefits of the mushrooms, but I just can't drink this. This is not going to work. And so we've solved for taste. We have 6 functional mushrooms in our coffee. You don't see, taste, or smell them. And our coffees are premium and they are fabulous. So that's my favorite product that everybody's going to love. It's good for your health. It's less caffeine. Yeah. And the mushrooms give it so much benefit. It's awesome.
Yeah. In terms of the health, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely it does. What other product? Because I see products behind you.
Yeah, sorry. This is our little home office. This is where we kind of do everything. So this is our little home office. So we have a liquid vitamin. This is our liquid vitamin. It's called Vibe Liquid Vitamin. Vibe is an acronym for vitamins in a bottle, and it has 17 plus vitamins, nutrients, and minerals. And so if you're 40 plus, it's good for everybody. My kids take it, but if you're 40 plus, you know how it is.
Yeah.
When I say I was taking probably $300 worth of pills and supplements every month.
Yes.
Right?
Not just that's just the cost. It's the amount of supplements you're taking every day.
Yes. And I just couldn't. I was like, I can't physically take these pills anymore. I was like, I can't do it anymore. So that's why we came up with the liquid vitamin. So it's going to give you everything you need. You don't have to take 1,000 pills. It's got everything in it. So it is amazing and it tastes great. I give it to my kids and it works. It works. It really works. And then we have our detox, which is that's our number one selling product. Kayav. Kayav is a Hmong word that means to evacuate. So it is going to evacuate you. But it tastes amazing. It tastes like mango. It is amazing. And it is going crazy right now because people are loving it because it does what it's supposed to do.
So is that a product that you take while you're at home all day long?
No, everybody's different. I take mine at the gym. So by the time I get home, I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
But it just works differently on different people. Some people take it overnight. Some people, they take it before they go to bed or whatever. So I'll be up in the middle of the night going to the bathroom and I can't I don't want it to interrupt my sleep. But it's not harsh. That's the thing. It's a lot
Yeah.
of detoxes are harsh. It's not a harsh detox. It's a gentle purge and it tastes amazing. And you're gonna get a purge. You're gonna be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I had that much stuff in my system. Like
Oh,
seriously.
wow.
Yeah. But it's not going to cramp you up. You're not going to
Yeah.
be like, oh my gosh, I'm having a baby. So it's just a nice purge. I love that one. And people are going nuts for that one.
You're going to have to tell us where I know where they are, but if you could share where your products are available for us.
Yeah. You can go to Nuspira.com, www.nuspira.com. And our products are also on Walmart.com, TikTok Shop. They're also on Flip Shop. You probably don't even know what that is. I didn't even know what that was. Do you know what that is? I
Oh,
didn't even
I
know
don't
what
know what that one is.
I didn't know what that was until they contacted me. It was like, hey, let's put your product on here. I was like, oh, okay. And it's
Nice.
also Amazon. Yeah, I was like, okay, sure. And it's also on
Yeah.
Amazon.com. So you got plenty of places you can find products.
Definitely put that in this description.
Okay,
That's great. Oh my goodness. I think
thank
I'm trying
you.
coffee. That sounds great.
It's amazing. I got to send you some. It's pretty good.
Yes,
Pretty good.
honestly. So I do have a couple of questions. I know we got distracted, but if someone can make one change in their life today to start seeing results, what would you tell
Oh,
them to do immediately?
God, you got some good questions, man. I'm like, wow. One change? Gosh, one?
Okay,
Just
more than one.
no, I'm kidding. Let me see. I would say start forming. I think we talked about this earlier. Start forming better habits.
Yeah.
You know, start taking care of yourself. Start doing your goal setting. People don't do that. It's the little things that count. Start goal setting at the beginning of the year and stick to it. Planning, stick to it. If you have a big vision, stick to it. Be consistent with it. I would say just start forming better habits. Instead of watching TV at night, work on your plans. Or instead of, doing things that are unproductive, make sure
Yes.
you have more productive time. Because like I said, I hate it when people say I don't have enough time and I sit down, I'm like, oh, let's chart out your day. And it's like 8 hours of unproductive time.
Right. Right. Very, very true. It's very, very true. But
So maximize every moment. Yeah, that's probably
yes,
a good one. Maximize every moment. Yeah.
yes. And again, I said this the other day too. Gratitude, expressing gratitude.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one. That's a really good one. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Be grateful for the journey because life is a journey, right? Because everything has built me up to this point. If I look over my life, everything has led me to this point. So things didn't happen. And I'm grateful for things that didn't happen that I probably wanted to happen, but they didn't happen because it wasn't meant to be. But be grateful for the journey that you're on because every journey is a stepping stone towards something greater. So, yeah,
Well, I have to ask you about that. So,
yeah.
what setback are you most grateful for that taught you the most?
I think that job situation was probably the thing that taught me the most. It taught me that there is what I think is stability. uh, Never put your eggs in one basket. And what I thought was stability was not stability. And you are expendable at any moment. And always have a backup plan. Always, I was one of those people, and I hear it all the time, and I still see it. I'm just looking at these people like, mm-mm-mm. You only live once.
Yeah.
Go for it. You only live once. And I used to live by that because it was an excuse for me to do stupid stuff. That was my excuse for me to go out and blow money or buy this or do that or, go
Yeah.
on vacation 5 times a year. That was my excuse. That was my excuse for not saving any money. And so now I'm grateful that I had to go through that journey where it was a stretch. It was hard because I lost my income overnight. Boom, lost my income overnight and struggled throughout a whole year and a
Yeah.
half,
Yeah.
struggled. And I'm grateful for that journey because it taught me a lot. It got a lot of stuff out of me. And sometimes God will take situations that you feel are just horrific and you just feel like there's no recovery. He'll take situations like that and use it to his benefit and use it to your benefit because it breaks you down and it builds you up to be the
Yes.
person that you're supposed to be, right?
Yes. Yes.
I couldn't be sitting here with you right now if I hadn't gone through that journey, and I couldn't be authentic and real. I couldn't be telling you a story right now because I wouldn't have gone through that. And so now that I've gone through it, I'm like, wow, I'm really grateful for that. Thank you. Thank you, God. I'm grateful for that journey because that taught me a lot. And now going forward, I am a better person, 100%. I can honestly say a better person for it.
I
Better
can
person.
see it in you. I can feel it through you. Honestly, you are just a powerhouse. You
Oh,
really,
thanks.
really are.
Thank
Honestly.
you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Honestly, Kat Sterling, thank you so much for being here. You've been wonderful to chat with. Honestly, I could chat with you all day.
I know we could. I'm like, I'm loving these questions because these questions are they're deep, they're introspective, and I love them.
Oh, thank you.
The
Thank
interviewer.
you very much. Well, that concludes our inspiring conversation with Kat Sterling. Her story is a reminder that building a meaningful life sometimes takes persistence and a commitment to staying true to yourself. That was Kat's vision. Kat, thank you for sharing your journey and offering so many powerful insights. And to everyone else listening, let Kat's story remind you to embrace the challenges and celebrate the wins, and stay open to the happiness that comes from pursuing your purpose. Until next time, take care and keep leading with intention. I'm Jackie Denise.